on blindness research, now and in the future.
15 years ago, one could argue that funding really wasn't the rate-limiting step. There was so much that was we needed money 15 years ago to study these diseases, but in those days there was so much that was not known. The path to treatment was simply not clear. And so the phase of the work was casting about, looking for the path. Now I think that many of the paths are clear, and what is lacking is the number of hands working on them every day.
The whole world has changed for the patients, is what I've learned. They were told a decade ago, they were told, well, you have a certain form of RP. I'm sorry, it'll progress, it'll get worse. We don't know how quickly, but at some point, you're going to lose some of your day-to-day function, and there isn't anything we can do about it. That's a terrible thing. That is just about the worst thing I think anybody could hear. And today, some of these patients who heard that 10 years ago, I can talk to them and I can tell them there are people working on your disease. There are animal models of your disease. And your disease will be one that will be in a clinical trial. I can't predict the future with great certainty, but 2, 5, 10 years, there will be patients being treated. You may be one of those patients that will be in a clinical trial.
It's critical that the foundation continues to be able to fund these efforts to move diseases to the clinic, because that's really the hope for the future for the many, many people who need help.
We're on the threshold of an era of gene therapies and genetic therapies for inherited retinal disorders, based on the proof of concept in humans that gene therapy can preserve and restore sight in patients with these disorders.
I have not seen advances like this coming to fruition, coming to that stage where the foundation can make such a great difference going forward, bringing those preventions, treatments, and cures to individuals.
I think there are already things that are working, say gene therapy treatments that are working, and so in some ways you could say we are curing blindness. It is a process. Like everything else, these are complicated disorders. And so, but it almost seems like for the ones with the gene therapy right now, we're knocking them off one at a time.
I think now's the time. There's so many diseases, blinding diseases, where we know the gene defect, we know the mutations, we have animal models. Proof of concept has been demonstrated in the laboratory, much of this due to the generosity and the foresight of Foundation Fighting Blindness. And it's time now to move those forward and actually get those treatments coming.
There are a dozen or more potential treatments which have shown promise in animal models, that have shown promise in laboratory tests, and all of those need to be moved out to the clinic. And I can guarantee that some of them will definitely work.
We have projects lined up, just waiting for the resources in order to take them forward into the clinic. And that's really where donors can make a huge difference for us. We have that taxi line just waiting, one after the other. And as we get the resources to move them forward, that's what we do. In a scientifically sound way, in a way that's going to make a difference for those individuals. We just need the resources to be able to do it.